It's Birdman hanging out here in the Birdman Media Studios. This is a special edition of Birdman on the Mountain. We're going to be talking today about the United States Census, which happens in 2020. I've got with me a representative from the United States Census, Shane Ousey. Ousey. Okay, it's that's a new name for me. So Ousey.
It's a very rare name.
Very cool. And you said you came from New York originally, right?
Yeah, born and raised in New York. Spent 26 years in the Army, so I call all of America my home.
Well, thank you for your service. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So you came up today, and you actually came up from Texas.
Yep, from Dallas.
To talk to us in this area about the census, what it means. So why don't you give us an overview and start like constitutionally what it means, and then sort of go from there as to what it does for us here in the United States.
Okay. Well, our founding fathers were brilliant guys. They realized that we had to have some way to count the population in order to create representation for them in the capital. So we've been doing the census since 1790, every 10 years. And it's mandated by the Constitution to go out and count everyone that is living in this country. So that's what we do. And then those numbers go back and get reported to Congress and the president, and then that creates the representation in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, so specifically, just so people realize, right, the number of representatives that are given to a state, that isn't a set number. That's based upon population.
Based on population. The total number of House of Representatives is a set number.
Okay.
But it can move around. So, for example, Arizona is a state that's projected to gain a seat. Probably because lots of folks are moving out of the Northeast. So some states in the Northeast or the Rust Belt in the Midwest are losing population. So they're projected to lose seats. So states like Arizona, Texas, Florida, California, New Mexico, where a lot of people are moving now, are projected to gain seats. So for those states, it's really important that we get an accurate count.
Okay. So one thing I want to address, it counts the number of people that exist in the area and that are living in the area. Correct. It doesn't matter where they're from, what they're doing. It's just the fact you're living here now in
Correct.
This year, and they count you here, and you don't make a registry of where people are or stuff like that.
No, sir.
Okay.
All the data, like I said, we just count who you are, what you report. So when you fill out the census, you say there's 10 people living in this house. We say there's 10 people living in a house. And all that data stays confidential to the Census Bureau. It's not released to any other government agencies or anybody for 72 years.
Okay. Well, that keeps things pretty safe.
Yeah, for a while.
Okay, so what's the process? What are we gonna go through? What can we expect? And there's different levels. Like certain people live in houses, some are in apartments, some are camping. Take us through the process.
So the census is actually a several phased operation. We do lots of steps along the way. We're actually starting this summer, where we're going out to verify the addresses. So we have a master address list that we compile from records in the post office and previous other censuses. And the Census Bureau actually does different surveys all year round every year.
Oh, okay.
We don't just every 10 years stand up and do the decennial. Every day we have people out knocking on doors, doing different kind of surveys for unemployment and crime stats, on housing stats, all that kind of stuff is done by the Census Bureau. So we use all that data, create the address list, and we'll start confirming some of those addresses this summer. And then towards the end of 2019 or early 2020, everybody who's got a mailing address will get a postcard in the mail. This is the first time, we're really excited at the Census Bureau. The first time in history we're doing it online. We're trying to get everybody to answer it online.
Oh, wow.
And that saves us money, time, effort. And as a taxpayer, that's a good thing, right? We don't want to.
Absolutely.
If we can save money by doing it online, then we'll do it online. And if folks can't do it online, maybe they live out somewhere where there's no internet access or something like that, they can call a phone number and do it over the phone. And if they don't want to do it on the phone, they can call that phone number and say, please mail me a paper copy. So they have 3 ways to do what we call self-respond. Then after the self-response period is over, we'll start looking at the list, say, okay, we didn't hear from these people. And that's when we hire the thousands of people that we'll be hiring to go out and knock on doors and try and get people then to answer it either face-to-face or a little prompting then to go online and do it online. So they'll have, 3 opportunities to do it without anybody coming to knock on their door or bother them. And if they don't, then we'll eventually have someone come visit their house.
Okay, so let's talk about the visit. They come out, they're just checking to see who's there. And it's important because, as you said, it determines the Congress, okay, right, how many seats we have and that kind of deal. But it really ends up being how much money we get from the taxes. Especially up in here, we're Navajo County and Apache County as well, two of the poorest counties in the United States when it comes to things. So if we can represent that we have more people here, we're actually going to get more federal funding because of that, right?
Absolutely. There's been several studies done. One most famous one is by George Washington University. And I want to say for Arizona, it's somewhere about $1,900 per person that it would cost the state for an undercount. So
Right.
think about it. If we miss one house because they don't respond and they don't answer their door, and there's a mom and dad and 2 kids there,
Right.
4 people, just let's round it off, say $2,000 a head. That's $8,000 a year for 10 years that the state of Arizona would lose.
Okay.
Could potentially lose. So it's important that we get everybody, especially places where people are moving to and growing.
Okay, so nationally, there's a lot of people that are going to be hired. Your region, what is your total region coverage? What states or what areas?
So we have 12 states that the Dallas region covers. Oh, you're gonna.
Oh no, you don't have to list the states.
Basically, it's Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, straight on down through Texas
Okay.
to the border, with Arizona, Kansas, Oklahoma, Utah, Colorado. I said the Dakotas, Montana, Wyoming. I think that's probably all 12.
Texas, yeah.
And then Texas.
And Texas is like 8 states itself. So
Exactly,
holy cow.
like 70% of the population we're counting in our region is in Texas.
Okay, in that area, how many people are you actually going to hire to do these
In the
things?
whole-
Because you're not running around counting.
No, in the 12-state region, we'll look at hiring 55 to 65,000 total people.
Okay.
Which means I have to recruit over 400,000 people just to get to that 50 or 60,000 number.
Yeah.
So that's really, especially in a place like up here where there's not a lot of folks, when it comes time to recruiting and hiring, we've got to have a lot to get the 1 or 2 we need.
So I was talking to Glenn Kephart and with them at Navajo County, and they were saying that they have actually had a pretty decent amount of people already coming in and starting to volunteer and do that stuff. But we're going to want more, aren't we?
Yeah. In fact, I'm proud to say Arizona is the first state in the union where we hit our recruiting goal in every county at 100%.
Wow.
For early operations.
Early operations.
Now, peak operations, we just made early operations the peak operation. Goal starts in 2 weeks and goes about 10 times that. So yeah, we've had some great response in Arizona, a lot of good partnerships. We have a lot of people out already, building these, what they call CCCs, complete count committees in these different counties and states and local governments to kind of help spread the word locally. Because those are the trusted voices. I can go stand in front of a group of people in the middle of Arizona and say, come fill out the census thing. Look at me. Who's this guy from Texas?
Right.
You're from Arizona. You stand in front of a group of locals from around here. They're going to go, oh, okay.
And that's the other reason that the people that coming and knocking on the doors are going to be from the area.
Correct.
They're not coming from Texas or from DC or anything like that.
That's the goal. The goal is to hire the local folks because, again, they're trusted voices. Your neighbor knocks on the door. You're probably, hey, what you doing, neighbor? Hey, man, you forgot to fill out your census. Oh, thanks. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Versus, who are you? Why are you coming to my door? So.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Anything else that we sort of missed or we should make sure that people understand to feel comfortable about it? We're going to list the website, obviously, and I'm sure there's a telephone number there as well. But
yeah, just remember April 1st, 2020 is Census Day.
Okay.
The postcards will come out before that, but
really, April Fools, they can pick a better day.
Why it's April 1st? I don't know. It's probably some constitutional requirement or something. I don't know. But the postcards will come out earlier than that. So as soon as they get those postcards, go online, start answering, because the sooner they answer, the better our numbers are going, the less work we have to do on the ground, knocking on doors, which ultimately saves taxpayer dollars and all that kind of good stuff. And talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors about it. If you're one of those folks that understands the importance of census, can't wait to get it done, make sure your neighbor knows. Make sure your neighbors' neighbors know.
I'm pretty sure we'll be running a ticker, make sure that everyone is aware, fill out the census. Let's make sure we get the monies that we deserve. We pay for it. So it comes right from us. So
we're paying ourselves, right?
We want to get us our own money back. So that'd be a good thing to do. Awesome. Thank you, Shane, for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for the trip.
Thanks,
and
Rob.
that's the United States Census. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Hey, I'm Birdman, and we'll be updating you as things go along. Just remember that it's important to get counted, and you want to make sure that your vote counts. You want to make sure that you're counted as an individual in the first place so you have a vote. So go do that. United States Census 2020, and we'll see you then.